Ahoy, mateys! It's another episode of Verbal Sex with Andrew X. Boy, do we have a doozy for you today. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the music dying. It's Andrew X again. Have no guest, just a solo one for you today. It's Friday, not Thursday. It's the first day that I would have switched it to Thursday, and it's a day late. So, to the mountain of complaints that I've received, or questions as to why it's late, please stop asking. So, here's the thing. I'm doing this all by myself. I'm recording these, putting all the equipment together. I'm editing them to the minimal extent that it needs, I guess. Converting it to video and uploading it to YouTube. Putting together a website. Designing the website. Coding the website. Well, some of it. This is all on top of recording the podcast and trying to write new stand-up, and all in between 12-hour shifts at work. So, I think I'm doing okay being a day late. I've been real hard on myself about being as late as I have, but I realized that, unlike a lot of podcasts out there, I don't have a friend that takes it and uploads it to a website for me. I'm not one of those guys that just has to turn down his phone because he left it on before he started recording the podcast. There we go. I don't have anyone helping me out with this. It's all me. Except for when I get a guest. I consider that help. Thanks to all the guests that I've had. And thanks to all the nice things people have said. That's been great. Keep it up. I like nice things. Well, no, don't. If you actually have something nice to say, that's fine. Don't kiss my ass. Not that you would. There's nothing... It's a pretty dirty ass to kiss. Anyway. So, yeah. Know that I'm doing all this in between long shifts at work and this and that. Other things that I just mentioned, aforementioned, therefore, yada, yada, etc., etc. Yeah. This is going to sound like sort of a hypocritical thing to say inherently at first, but stick with me for a minute. You shouldn't give advice as there's certain people that by default just start giving advice. You know what I mean? Whenever you talk to them about anything, they're like, oh, you know what you should do is this. Or, if you mentioned something like, hey, we're going out for sushi this weekend. And the first thing out of your mouth is, oh, you know where you should go? Is go here. You didn't ask where they were going. You didn't ask anything. You didn't have any sort of interest in the fact that they were expressing this thing to you, really. You just said, oh, sushi, my favorite is this. You know where you should go is this. It's just a hypothetical example. Yeah. It's pretty unnecessary. I don't think anybody likes that. And the reason I stipulated that it might sound hypocritical is that I realize I'm giving advice as I'm doing this, but the difference is I'm just saying it to nobody in particular. Anybody that engages in that sort of... If that is a normal conversation to you, that is not normal. If the first thing out of your mouth is, oh, you know what you should do, or, oh, what I would do is go do blank, or if that's the first thing out of your mouth, if it's not really, wow, give me some detail, or, or, at least something else. If the first thing out of your mouth is a suggestion, you should probably not do that. That's not a normal conversation. There's a bunch of people that do that, and they do that with each other, and you find that all they're doing is really waiting for their chance to talk, not really listening. They'll change what they're about to talk about based on keywords that they hear because they're not really listening. But all they're doing is just waiting for their turn to talk. You don't want to be that person. Nobody wants to talk to the person that just is waiting for their turn to talk. That's not a conversation. I think it's just a bad pathway in your brain to take. I think it's just something that people get stuck in, and then they meet other people that do the same thing and assume it's normal. And where I'm from, it's kind of a epidemic. I know that negative pathways can be hard to break out of. I have had many of them myself, even fucking doing this podcast. Like I talked about before, insurmountable tasks, seemingly insurmountable tasks that aren't really insurmountable. They're just, like a podcast, in my case here, I've had to deal with in the past couple weeks because, like I said, I am doing it all myself. But in the end, it isn't that much. Although trying to squeeze it in between work shifts among other, responsibilities, my house is kind of going to shit. Not going to lie. But, working on it. No, I'm not. I'm fucking recording a podcast. Yeah. I understand that negative loops in your brain are hard to get out of. I think they happen on a mass scale. And yeah, like I said, they can be good or bad. Like a good one would be, I think especially lately, it's cool to be conscientious. Which, comes with some bad stuff, I guess. Like some little superficiality of some of it. But society in general is, receiving a net benefit from people, being a little more conscientious about, especially in our society in America. We're fucking, pigs and assholes and pigs assholes. We just, if you go outside of the country, you notice that, people aren't quite as, rude. You don't run into as many rude people other places. And I'm willing to admit that. I'm even willing to admit a little of that in me, of course. We're just very, brash society. It's because we were built on that, rugged individualist. You can go out and get a piece of it if you want mentality. I'm really rambling on about this, aren't I? Feeling pretty good today. I got a new, I started putting together a new meal in the morning. Not really a meal. It's sort of like a meal replacement. Doing the, making a sort of breakfast shake. Like my girlfriend buys these Carnation instant breakfast things, and I'm trying to get her to just, I was telling her just, if you're going to do that, you might as well just take like a protein shake and make one of those and take a multivitamin with it, because that's basically what you're getting, except you're not getting all the sugar and shit. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, that's kind of a good idea. So what I did instead is I started mixing the whey protein with the Green Vibrance. I talked about that a couple podcasts ago. Green Vibrance, I think from Vibrant Health, I think is the name of the company. It's got all kinds of powdered greens of different kinds and digestive enzymes and probiotics and just all kinds of shit. I'll post a link of a picture to their, or a link, and you can just take a look at the nutritional facts. It's great. Not the tastiest stuff in the world. Tastes a little bit like mowed grass and whatever else, but, mix it with, what I've been doing is taking protein powder, mixing it with that, a little bit of MCT oil, and a scoop of stevia to sweeten it, but not add any calories. And then, I'm taking that and I'm mixing it with the unsweetened vanilla almond milk. Bam. Breakfast. Take that down with some fish oil, glucosamine and MSM, and, some magnesium and other stuff, And that, it takes maybe 4 minutes to put together in the morning. I'm often waking up right before work in the morning, so I've noticed, that really helps me when I have something that I can just put together in a couple minutes. And I know that's a lot of people's rationale behind eating bad. And I'm always trying to find things that can fit into that kind of lifestyle. And the whey protein is very digestible and if you mix it with, especially mixed with the digestive enzymes. And yeah, I found it gives me a nice little like boost energy in the morning. Nice natural energy. There's no sugar that isn't in any of it. That's any all natural. Nice, easily digestible MCT oil for a little bit of energy there. It's been fucking great. And I mean, it's not the most delicious thing in the world, but it's actually not that bad. There's only a little bit of tinge of the green stuff after you stop drinking it, a little aftertaste, but that's not so bad. Overall, it's fairly pleasant. So I'm working on packing up, starting to clean up and pack up to move out of my house. And we just did this, like a year and a half ago. Oh, but man, this place is so expensive. And it's not so much the rent that's expensive, it's the electricity costs. It's just an old house that's leaky. It's got electric heat, an electric water filter because because we're not on city water. We've got a well in our basement, and there's that. And, it's just an old house. It's a brick house, which you would think is good, but I think it's the windows that are shitty. And I don't know, but we get like $700-800 or $600-700 power bills. It's been pretty normal for like half of the year, or like a third of the year, maybe up to a half a year. And it's just too much. So yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. And I'm just realizing like how much fucking work this is. I'm going to sell all my shit before I get out of here. So that really all I'm moving is the bare minimum stuff. I need to sell a car or two. I need to sell a bunch of video games and video game systems. I need to sell, a bunch of videotapes, or at least just donate them. VHS tapes. And then on top of that, we got to throw away a bunch of shit. Get rid of the shitty couch that we bought. Fix some of the flooring that we fucked up in here. I mean, we're going to have to live here while we're doing all this before we move out, and it's going to be expensive. You know what I mean? Man, I'm not looking forward to this. I want to move back into an apartment, man. I'm so fucking sick of yard work. I need to move someplace where, like, I can get yard work, or I don't need to do any yard work. Because mowing a lawn is bullshit. I can walk my dog somewhere else and just pick up their shit as I go. That's no problem. Why do I need this big patch of fucking grass sitting in front of me? The only thing it does is make me have to do something like once a week that I really don't want to do. Go fucking mow it, trim it, pull weeds in the fucking flower beds. Oh, man. Fucking listen to me. Talk about some white people problems, right? Man, I'm living in too nice a house. I mean, because it's big and whatever, but I have too much stuff. Just need to get rid of it. Another fucking white person problem. Listen to me, bitch, about this. Kind of makes me sick. But I'll tell you what, though. Fucking Washington really plays some shitty tricks on you, doesn't it? Like, I would go through all winter being like, fuck this state. The weather here sucks. All like spring, winter, fall. The whole time it's just raining like shit the whole time. Or at least just enough to be annoying. Just to ruin every weekend. And then all of a sudden, the second you're like right at your fucking the brink, you're like right when you're fucking, I'm moving the fuck out of here. All of a sudden, it turns all super nice. Right, summer comes, and now it's like, no, look, it's nice. I'm sorry I was such an asshole to you for like all year, but hey, I'll give you 3 months of this. How's that sound? Look, it's all still colorful, but now it's warm too. But, oh man, I'm at the point now where I know it's a trick. I know you're just going to get shitty again in a couple months, and I'm going to hate it. Need to move somewhere where it's warmer weather. Weather here just fucking blows. I mean, not today. Today it's fucking gorgeous, but there's not enough todays in Washington. It's either like, and I wouldn't even mind so much like on the other side of the mountains in eastern Washington, At least in the winter, it snows like a motherfucker, and you can go out and have fun in the snow, even at my fucking age, Jesus. But you can't go out and have fun in the rain, and people that say they do are just full of shit. People always say they fucking like the rain. In Washington, there's always people that if you're not from here, people always walk around being like, I don't mind the rain. I actually find it quite calming. You'll find that they're not saying that they like the rain. They're saying that they don't mind the rain. And that's what it is. It's this big fucking settlement. They're settling for fucking it being shitty weather. And they're just trying to, like, be positive about it. But they have to put effort into being positive about it. And that's my problem. That's my point. I mean, the point is that nobody likes the fucking rain here. It just makes you have to stay inside. It's depressing. Because you can't, it makes driving suck. Not to mention drivers around here suck ass too. And it's just... For those 3 months, it's like, look at how pretty everything is. Everything's in color and in bloom. There's green everywhere, and it's sunny and nice and hot. But nope, right back to shit in just a few months, and that's all we get. Feels like we're getting ripped off, I've lived here for long enough, I think, for now. I mean, there's lots of cool things about it, don't get me wrong, but lots of down-to-earth people, supposedly. Yeah, a higher percentage of more down-to-earth people here than a lot of other places, but crap weather. But it's funny, though, the past few days, now that the sun has come out, I'm in, like, such a much better mood. I know it doesn't sound like it with all the bitching I've just done, but really, like, overall, I'm in a much better mood. And even I've noticed that people around me that are generally in shitty moods are in better moods. There's really something to that, isn't there? And, yeah, I'm just sick of it, yanking me around, I think. People like to settle for it. I mean, and that's your thing, that's fine. People say, I like seasons. But there aren't seasons in Western Washington. There's rain for 9 months, nice for 3 months, rain for 9. That's like, there's 2 seasons, and they're the shitty, or the good one, and then the shitty one. And that's it. That's all you get. The best one and the shittiest one. And the shittiest one is most of the time. People settle for it. Which I guess is fine if that's your thing. I obviously have for long enough. Been here almost my whole life, so yeah, time to move. But, I had this girl, someone mentioned brown streaks in underwear, and some girl was like, but all men have brown streaks in their underwear, don't they? It was my buddy's girlfriend. All men have brown streaks in their underwear, don't we? And we just looked at each other, me and my buddy, and we said, no, dude. Most guys do not have brown streaks in their underwear. Yeah, dude, if you have brown streaks in your underwear, it's time to get new underwear. She was like, but Carlos Mencia had this whole bit about how all guys have brown streaks in their underwear. My buddy was like, yeah, because he's a dirty fucking Mexican. But, yeah, I mean, the point is that the weather in Washington is like wearing shitty underwear everywhere. You don't have to settle for the shitty underwear. When it gets shitty, you take it off, you buy a new fucking pair of underwear. And that's all there is to it. Don't walk around in 9 months of shitty underwear. Buy a new pair of underwear. Maybe I'll come back for summers, because summers are nice here. Someday when I can afford to live in multiple places. But, I guess I could now. Just be a fucking bum. But yeah, downsize is the name of the game. Get rid of all the shit except for the stuff I need for the podcast, my TV, and, just to have something at home for when I'm sick or whatever. And, the bare essentials. And that's about fucking it. Move into an apartment somewhere. Maybe pay a very little amount of money for rent. And fucking chill. Save. So yeah, this guy Donald Sterling, the racist dude that owns the fucking Clippers. I mean, okay. This guy's a shithead, obviously. At least a little bit of a shithead. But I mean, he has to sell the basketball team and all this shit. He's got this massive media storm against him right now. You know what I mean? He was obviously set up. I mean, his girlfriend was trying to get some dirt on him, very obviously. And he said some shit. Of course he said some racist shit. And it's like, and of course I don't condone what he said, but I mean, you know, he's going to have serious repercussions. I mean, people think he is a fucking dick. You know what I mean? He probably gets shit thrown at him. You know what I mean? When he goes places now. Does he really deserve that? I mean, just for saying, like, don't take pictures with black people. You can fuck him, but don't take pictures with black people, essentially, to his girlfriend. That's weird. We're on a fucking witch hunt for racists, man. Like, we come down so hard as a society. Because I think, you know, obviously because we feel now it's like white guilt over slavery or whatever. And of course slavery is wrong. And of course, you know, racism is wrong. But, I mean, this old 80-year-old man, this old 80-year-old rich guy, we're worried about him, like, telling some fucking gold digger bitch not to take pictures with that you can fuck, but not take pictures with black people. I mean, certainly there's a little bit of racism there, but I mean, come on, people. That is not like... I know we talked about this a little bit with the last podcast with Jeff, but I didn't really say much, because I really didn't know a whole lot about what he was doing and what went on. But now that I've read a little bit more about it, especially now that he's been, like, banned from the NBA and, like, basically forced to sell his basketball team, like, wow. And now I'm seeing just, like, news story after fucking news story after news story after news story about him. And he's just getting dragged through the fucking mud over, like, I've heard people say way worse. Way fucking worse than you can fuck these guys, but don't take pictures of them. You know, I mean, people are projecting their own insecurity about their own possible racist self onto the rest of the world, trying to drag other people down to make themselves look better. Or some shit like that, you know? It's just, man, it's sick, isn't it? And of course what this guy said was fucking stupid, but I mean, come on. Like I said, you know, I've not only heard worse, I've had friends say way worse. And they're still my friends. I mean, come on. Maybe not the closest of friends, but, you know, still. I'm not, like, running around talking shit about them. I'm not, like, dragging their name through the media mud. I'm not... It's just terrible. Anyway, next week we'll be back with having a guest. I'm very excited about this one. I have no idea who it is yet, but I will have one next week. That is what I'm saying. And I'm going to go ahead and end this one here, guys, to about the average 25-minute, 30-minute thing that I do by myself, it seems. I will have another one. I'm thinking about doing a couple a week, or when I can, you know. We'll see how that goes, because I really enjoy doing this. Thanks for listening, guys. And as, again, I want to reiterate that if you have any questions, comments, or things that you want me to talk about on the air, anything like that, you can write to me at verbalsex@bloodbidet.net. That is verbalsex, all one word, at bloodbidet.net. Yes, like bloody thing that washes your ass. Yeah, please. I would love to interact with the listeners some more. Get some feedback, all that good stuff. Thanks for all you people that have been sharing my podcast with others. The increase in listenership has been great. I really very much appreciate it. If you will want to share my podcast with someone else you think might be interested in listening, please do. send them to my website. Send them to my YouTube channel. The website, again, is bloodbidet.net/AndrewX/podcast. I'm working on getting another domain just to go straight to the podcast, so to make that easier for y'all. But for now, all right, this is Andrew X signing off.